Welcome to Top 10 Archive.
Mutants. They are among us, you know. Their bodies performing impossibilities that us normal humans aren't capable of. Contorting limbs, grotesque bodily movements, and other oddities are among their more impossible attributes. And while they may try to make you feel bad for your inability to perform these deeds, you can't let them drag you down.
Can you do any of these things that most people can't do? Number 10, nose wiggling. Your nose may twitch in response to a tickle, but we're referring to that iconic nose wiggle everybody fell in love with on Bewitched. In fact, the reason why most people may not be able to do it could be as simple as a misunderstanding of what they're trying to do. According to Bewitched actress Elizabeth Montgomery, her character's iconic wiggle was a combination of moving her upper lip and her nose.
Oh, is that what I was doing?
It's not entirely impossible to do, but it does require a certain command over your muscles, plenty of concentration, and likely a lot of practice. Number 9, lick own elbow, nose, or chin. This is definitely not some impossible feat that absolutely nobody can do, but it is often the subject of teenage arguments. Who can and cannot lick their own elbow, nose, or chin seems to be some sort of youthful test that proves who's awesome and who falls short. But it's not some miraculous gift to gloat about.
I'm awesome!
It all boils down to how flexible you are and the size of your tongue. As you could probably figure, people with longer tongues are more likely to be able to lick their nose and chins, and those that can bend their arm inward further will be able to lick their elbow. Okay, stop trying to lick your elbow now. We need to go on to number 8, auto-tickling. While it may be something that only an unhinged person would try to do,
I was laughing because I was tickling myself. Just like this.
Most people aren't able to enjoy the sensation of a good tickle without a second party involved. If you're wondering why, I'll give you a few seconds to wonder why. If you're now wondering why, good job. Researchers at the Institute of Cognitive Neuroscience at University College London, who all seem to have a lot of time on their hands, determined it all has to do with the cerebellum. This portion of the brain is responsible for coordinating muscle activity and, according to research, is able to predict sensations when caused by a person's own movement. The act of tickling also involves the somatosensory cortex and anterior cingulate cortex, processors of touch and pleasant sensations, which are less active when a person self-tickles. So who can tickle themselves? Well, it mostly boils down to schizophrenics and people with traits related to schizophrenia. Number 7, body multitasking. The test to determine whether your body can multitask is simple. Start by rotating your right foot in a clockwise motion. Yeah, just like that. Now, while you're rotating your foot, write the number 6 with your right hand. How did you do? Did your body seize for a moment while trying to perform both actions at the same time? Don't be too discouraged, as you're not alone. With practice, you may be able to perfect it, but in the meantime, you're simply falling victim to the capabilities of your motor cortex and nerve clusters. When you try to move your foot in a counterclockwise motion, you're telling your motor cortex to activate a separate cluster of nerves to facilitate the opposite motion. Wires get crossed, though, and the motion essentially goes toward the dominant force and overrides the additional action. Number 6, raise one eyebrow. Want to achieve Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's or Mr. Spock's signature eyebrow raise? Well, you may not be able to, at least not right away. Go ahead, try it. Chances are both of your eyebrows are working as one unified unit. While many people look at the unibrow with disgust, ew, it really demonstrates the connection between the muscles that control our brows. If you really want to wield full control over your eyebrows, it can be done with a little practice. It's believed that the eyebrow raise is an evolutionary emotional trait that animals like baboons and mandrills would use to threaten predators. Now, it's mostly a sign of surprise or skepticism. Number 5, ear wiggling. Of all the things on your body you may feel like wiggling. We'll wait for you. How high up are your ears? If they're up there on the list, then we have some great news for you. Wiggling your ears isn't impossible. However, it's not incredibly common. The ability to ear wiggle comes from your auricular or muscle above and behind your ears. While these muscles are pretty useless to us now, at one time it may have helped hone in on prey, much like with felines. Today, it serves as a parlor trick that for some, researchers believe, may be possible due to a dominant genetic trait. Number 4, tongue tricks. No, get your mind out of the gutter. Not those kinds of tongue tricks. we're referring to the quirky parlor tricks that a good portion of the population is unable to do. While about 75% of the population can roll their tongue, a smaller percentage is able to take their tongue dexterity and muscle control to a whole new level and literally make shapes with their malleable organ. From clover leaves to being able to flip their tongue a full 180 degrees, these lucky individuals are able to do what most people cannot. How they are able to manipulate their tongue in such a way is believed to be a question of genetics. The more complex shapes, which are far rarer, are believed to stem from a dominant trait among those that can roll their tongue. Number 3. Mouthful of fist. At one point in time, pretty much everyone was able to fit both our hands and feet in our mouths as babies. For adults, however, fitting a fist into one's mouth is no easy feat. While you sit over there and try to prove us wrong, we'll lay down some brief science on you. For the majority of the population, a person's fist is considerably larger than their mouth. Really, duh, it's that simple. Those that are able to accomplish this ridiculous feat often have small hands or big mouths. It's not something you can learn to do, so you can remove your fist from your mouth now. And for those other special few, we're not responsible for... Number 2. Gleeking. Here's something you can use at parties. Gleeking is the act of temporarily becoming a camel and spitting a jet of saliva from your salivary glands. Parents and authority figures love this one, so pay attention. It's all about stimulating the submandibular gland or salivary gland and perfectly positioning your tongue and applying the proper amount of pressure to the right area. Gleeking can also occur unintentionally while talking, yawning, eating, or cleaning your teeth, which makes for the perfect conversation starter while on a date. It's believed that only about 35% of people can actually gleek, with 1% able to gleek on command. After 20 minutes of trying, I can confidently say I'm among the 65%. Number 1. Oh, look, I did it! Number 1. Open-eyed sneezing. We're not entirely sure why anyone would feel the need to do this, but who are we to judge? So long as you don't forgo covering your mouth for the sake of keeping your peepers open every time you sneeze, seems like no harm can be done. That is, of course, unless your eyes pop right out of their socket. Okay, that won't happen. So feel free to try sneezing with your eyes open. But if you find it difficult, it's because you're working against your body's natural reflexes. When you sneeze, the sensation of sneezing travels through the nerves that link your nose and eyes, causing you to blink. Really, it's as simple as that.
God bless you!
Hey, here's another one for the list. Did you know that most people can't yawn with their mouths shut? And oh yeah, did you know I can't make up my own mind? Yep, my wife has to do that for me. Oh.